Today on Alaskan Ballistics, the Discovery Optics 5-25 awesome precision rifle scope. Let's check it out. Thank you for watching Alaskan Ballistics. This is the Discovery Optics ED 5-25. It's got enhanced glass. That's what the ED glass stands for. It's really, really good glass. This is a heavy, meant to be target long-range hunting type scope. You can see right there, Discovery Optics. If you want a discount code, you make sure it is Alaskan 525. But let's go check this out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Visit our MeWe page where I'll have all the information on the scope that YouTube doesn't let me post in the description or comment section. First of all, it is going to have a nice Christmas tree reticle, you can see right there. But let's open it up. It is first focal plane. And let's open this bad boy up right here. You've got all sorts of cool stuff in here. Got instructions. That's handy because I need those. And you've got a quality control check. So somebody at the factory in China did actually check everything, make sure there was a quality control. Yes, it is Chinese made. No, it is not cheap Chicon crap, I don't think. Yet, you get a leveling kit. So I'm going to kind of have to play around with that and read the instructions on that to mount it, because that's kind of cool. It's a leveling kit, because I always mount mine a little crooked. Of course, you get a cloth, which is awesome. And looks like a little basics card on the features. So let's read that. First focal plane. All right, the line name is the ED-PRS, Discovery Optics. First focal plane. Field of view is 4.68 degrees to 0.93 degrees on 25 power. Exit pupil diameter, you see all that. Click value is, 1/10 of NRAB or milliradian. All right. You get 15 mils up of adjustment. That's not bad. And 18 mils looks like windage, or 8.7 windage. That's awesome. Objective lens is 56 millimeters. It is a 34 millimeter tube. It is illuminated. You can see how long it is right there. All right, it is 1,156 grams. I think it's over 3 pounds. It's shockproof, waterproof, fog-proof, and nitrogen-filled. Now, it came with these rings, and this is probably my biggest knock on it so far. The rings are nice, high quality. That's not an issue. They're just way too high for a precision rifle scope, and they are just way too high. For an AR-10, they're perfect. For a precision bolt action, not so much. So hopefully there'll be some choice of what kind of rings it would come with. I actually had to order some medium rings, medium 34 millimeter rings. All right, and I've already played around with mounting it, so there's a scratch or two. That's on me. And you can see all the features right here. It does have a zero stop as well. All right, I'm going to pull off the end cap, so pull it off. And I kind of like that instead of the ones that just fall off anyway. And on the front, we have one here, and it's actually fitting pretty tight, so that's good to see. You have these huge knobs. Everything about this scope is huge. We can see that right there. Zero stop. Good audible clicks. And there's your focus ring, your power for the illuminated reticle. And down here is your ring here. This is hard to turn, I'm not going to lie. Even with the extended handle, which does come in here, it is hard to turn. Here's the extended handle right here. So just screw that in there. Give that little hole in the thing there. So that helps a lot in turning it, but it's still pretty hard to turn. Like most scopes, 5-25, if you do put it on 25 power, the bottom of your reticle is, it's first focal plane, so the reticle grows. The bottom of your reticle will grow out of the scope. So if you need the bottom of your reticle, 15 to 16 power is the most you're going to get. If you just need magnification and you don't need to actually shoot that far, using a holdover, then you can go ahead and click it up to 25 and it'll be great. You get 3 different sizes of sunshades. That's awesome. You know what we're going to do? we're going to go take this outside before I even mount it to a rifle. And I'm going to hook up my phone to a scope adapter thing, and hopefully that works, that I ordered from Amazon. And hopefully it will actually work, and we'll be able to see. I'll point this up at the mountains and we'll be able to see what it does. Here's the reticle in this Discovery Optics. I'm looking at the mountainside from my house. It's about, I don't know, 6,000 yards away. It's pretty high up there from the view at my house, and it's just incredible. So I can't really turn the power anymore because I have it in a tripod. It's not on top of the rifle itself. And it's pretty clear. If there were sheep on top of that mountain right now, and mountain goats and stuff, we could actually see them with just my phone scope adapter and this on 15 power. It's not even on 15, it's about 14 power. And you can see the reticle. It is incredible, and it is almost dark out here. So that's how much good the reticle and stuff is. There we go. So we can see a little bit all over this mountain here. It's pretty awesome. All right, here is our Discovery Optics reticle. It is almost dark out here, and I'm looking at the mountains 6,000 yards away from my house, and the optic itself is on 14 power. My phone scope is on 2 power. If I put it down to 1 power, you can't really see anything, but on 2 power, that's what the reticle looks like. Obviously the phone isn't focusing on the reticle very well and the phone adapter, but it is focusing on the mountain. It does look really good. Hey, we are 6,000 yards away from this mountaintop we're looking at my house. It is nearly dark out here. The phone isn't focusing on the reticle very well. The reticle is much more clearer and etched than that because of the lighting, but it is awesome. So I think that is pretty good view. If there were doll sheep on this mountain right now, we'd be able to see them. So we mounted this Discovery Optics, and we mounted it on this CZ65PRC CZ600 Alpha. We'll do a full review of the rifle next week, but we mounted it on there. We had to get arc and rings. The rings they sent it with were way too high to actually get there. You can see there's a little marring in the scope. It wouldn't come off. The finish isn't what I would like it to be yet. It's not as durable. Most scopes, even cheap scopes, you can slide back and forth and not mar it like this, and that was a little weird to me. But otherwise, it's on a nice rifle, so we should be able to get some good groups with it, and hopefully we'll see if the CZ will group, and let's see what it'll do. Alright, so here are some of my shots with the Discovery Optic scope. This is 6.5 PRC ELDX. As you can see, it didn't like it, but this was ELDM, and it really liked that. That's a pretty good group right there. It's hard to hold that little dot on these little half-inch red dots at 100 yards. This was a called flyer. This is the Nosler Accubon long range, so that's an inch group. You know, right at an inch, maybe a little bit less. Center hole to center hole. Here's another inch group, and this is the Norma Bond Strikes, so that's pretty good. This was Federal Fusion, and I thought I was going to have a good group, and then these two got pulled, and I don't think these are flyers, so it could have been me, maybe not. Now here's a called flyer as well. This is Federal Terminal Scent, and this stuff doesn't disappoint. This is the tightest hunting bullet group, and maybe the tightest group, so I'll have to get back home and measure them with an actual measuring calipers and everything, but man, not too bad. Alright, some final thoughts on this Discovery Optics scope. First, I'm going to go over the negatives, because there are a couple. One, I really don't like the reticle. I don't like that dot in the middle of the reticle. You know, I'd much rather have a very thin crosshair. because the dot is too dark to see on dark targets, such as shoot and see targets and stuff like that. Very hard to see that little tiny dot. It's got to be like a quarter of an MOA dot or less. It's very hard to see that on targets. Second thing, in the instruction manual, there's no instructions on how to use the zero stops. But I'm assuming, like any other scope, you just use an empty shell casing or a quarter or something. You unturn this, and this will come off. You can unturn this, and let's see what it looks like down inside there. I'm not to the point ready where I've sighted this rifle in where I want to use a zero stop. This scope might go on a different gun. All of the above, but should be able to. Well, just screw that off, and I don't see anything there, so that's a negative. Nothing came in the case that would fit down in there to be a zero stop. So I'm a little bit weary. I can't just lift this off after undoing that. It seems like if I turn it, it's only going to do clicks. So that's a problem, and probably a fairly significant problem. And there is absolutely nothing in the instruction manual on how to use the zero stop or how to take it in or out. And I'm not one of those that likes to take apart these columns of my scopes anyways. I feel like I'm going to screw more things up than I'm going to help. That being said, you can see it right here, mounting it. When you have the screws almost tight enough and you're sliding the scope back and forth, you do get a little discoloration. You do ruin the finish a little bit. So that's the third major problem with this scope. So that being said, the benefits far outweigh those. The glass is crystal clear, guys. I can't emphasize this enough. The glass on this scope is so crystal clear. For the money, it is awesome. We had a black bear on the mountain 1,108 yards away, and I could see it on 25 power like it was, 15, 20 yards away, or more, probably a little more than that, but like it was 60, 70 yards away. It was just great, and I could just sit there, and I could have taken a shot at it if I had wanted to and wanted to do all those calculations, but I didn't really want to do all that. And it was fantastic. Later, I had some Dall sheep on the mountain behind us, and this is at the rifle range. At the rifle range, we see a black bear and a Dall sheep behind the mountain. And I'm looking at the Dall sheep, and all of a sudden I see something brown come in from behind, brown and tannish, and I was like, that's a coyote, but it wasn't a coyote. With the scope, I was able to see the head and the face really clearly, and the front shoulder and the muscular. It was a wolf. A wolf was trying to eat the sheep, and 3 of the younger males went up to it to protect the ewe and the lamb, and they kind of scared the wolf off. It was a cool sight to see, and I got to see it because this scope is so crystal clear. So if you want one of these, I think they're a very good value. There's some things they need to improve. They need to improve the finish. They got to put instructions on here in the zero stop how to use it. They've got to send, different kinds of rings for bolt action rifles. But there's some things they got to improve. But overall, with all of its characteristics, you have 5 to 25 power, you got a nice Christmas tree reticle, you've got big turrets, you've got a lighted reticle, you've got a focus, and that focus works really, really well. Guys, this is an awesome scope. I highly recommend it. If you want some, there'll be links on my MeWe page. I can't link it here on YouTube, of course. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. God bless, take care, we will see you at the range.